So the California recall, as you know now, by now, the time you're seeing this video, is it was rather unsuccessful, and it wasn't just unsuccessful; it wasn't even close in terms of the recall effort. Why you feel that was the case? You feel it's rigged. You feel it's just par for the course for what that area has to deal with, and I think it's more for the latter. I think California is a very unique situation where it's a lot of brain dead leftists that live out there, man. And they have no desire to change it up. So this brings up some dialogue that I guess we need to really have about this. And I certainly understand different angles. Let me say this. As I've said with people that fight off aggression, doesn't matter if it's from the state or not, in this country, I don't care where you're at. I admire the efforts. It may not be the smartest thing. It may put your life in jeopardy, but I will never knock anybody for wanting to stay anywhere and fight off acts of aggression. That's ballsy. In a lot of cases, is admirable. But I do want to put this on your mind, and this is something to consider. I'm not just telling you guys to up and leave California, the people that value liberty that live in those areas. I've kind of said things similar to that, but just for this conversation, I just want to preface it by saying that I'm not telling you to do that. But I do think that there is a case to be made that you may be able to do something conducive to liberty or for liberty by doing that. And this is what I mean. California is a failed state. That's just what it is now. It's not just the corruption. It's that you're surrounded by essentially the enemy if you go out there and you value liberty. Yes, they boast and brag about the largest economy. That's the NPCs always roll that out. They don't even know what that means. They throw out GDP. They don't know what that even means, which is why they can't separate the fact that there are so many, or they don't even address it, rather, some of the poverty rates and the amount of poverty that has struck homelessness, that has struck California, despite all the taxation efforts and all of that, this whole budget surplus that people throw out there, which means nothing considering the context of how much that they're taxed. These are all buzz terms. Nonetheless, you have people that vote for their own oppression. Now, that impacts you if you live in that area. And because California is so unique, I want to say this. You're not a coward. You're not crazy, certainly, if you decide that you want to get the fuck up out of there. If you decide, you know what, this I've attempted to fight. This is not working. I'm just surrounded by the enemy, and I want to relocate to people that more so closely, where there's more of them that mimic, let's say, my ideas. So maybe you go to Tennessee or something. I don't know where you go, but you go somewhere else. You live to fight another day, and you are surrounded more so by your allies. There's nothing wrong with that. And also, when it comes to liberty, here's the other thing. California boasts about its brag about its California, the brainless leftists that don't really even contribute anything. They boast about their large economy. And what you would effectively, let's say if there was a mass exodus, again, not telling you to do this, I'm just speaking hypothetically. If there was a mass exodus of people from the state of California that value liberty and they went somewhere else, that state would be deprived of a lot of money and economic activity. So not just through ways of taxing, you guys work there, right? You guys have businesses there. And there's already been an influx of people coming that are leaving California and relocating elsewhere. Yeah, there's those arguments. All these people go and they vote for the same policies, and some of that is true. But I'm specifically in this context talking about the people that value liberty. You could live and fight another day, and you could also deprive those quacks of your money and access to your resources in some ways. Would the state, or rather the federal government in this case, try to bail them out? Yeah, but that's a bridge that we cross when we get there, right? You got to look at it in terms of the morale and your own well-being if you were to relocate and get to closer to people that are more like-minded. Now, I'm not going to pretend like that's easy for some people, because it's not. Depending on your situation, that's going to vary, but that can be said about literally any move. So really, it's not even worth mentioning. I think some people that are I watched the video of this chick who's a liberty-minded chick now that popped up on my timeline on Twitter, and she was like, I just want to explain the thought process with people that are out here, and why they are out here, and they may value some of these different things. And she was explaining, like, not just the brainwashing element, but the idea that people don't know. And I've talked about this in New York City, that there are people in California that literally don't know any alternative. It exists, but because it's not within like their peripheral, they have no idea that it does. They don't understand the amounts of opportunity that are there. You can get virtually the same jobs, cheaper cost of living, and be closer to your allies or people that think closer to you in terms of how they value private property rights, and it'd be cheaper and a better living experience than what you are in California. A lot of people just simply don't know that because, well, maybe it's the propaganda, maybe it's the hyping of the blue check marks who act as if like opportunity and this is like sort of this beacon of economic growth and all of that, which again couldn't be anything further from the truth. But if that's all you have heard throughout your entire life, I could totally understand why some people think that that's all that there is. Right? There is no, but like it's the same with, I'm from Texas, right? And I've been in the West Coast, I've been in the East Coast, and these people that think that every spot in Texas is like, I don't know, tumbleweeds going across the damn dirt, and we all get around on horses, and some of us do, but not anything to the degree that it just goes to show how it's just simply they don't understand, right? Because that's all they've been surrounded by. It's like people that live in New York City who think that that's all there is, right? So they're utterly confused by this. There is opportunity and there is other aspects or other being jobs, other living experience that's going to be way more pleasant than where it is that you are right now, considering you're in California. Because right now, I saw someone make this argument before. It's like, dude, if you're not completely on a planning either a full-blown tax revolt, really at this point you're funding your own suffering. And I was like, a case can be made there. I don't think that's necessarily wrong. That's kind of what it is that you're doing because of how much of a failed state it is, because of how so far gone that is, and this recall not even being close, no matter how corrupt this guy is, no matter how much hell he put this state through in the last year and some change, these people still went out there and that's what you got. So I don't knock people relocating. Certainly, definitely right, you can. But also living to fight another day and being closer to your allies. But also depriving those assholes in California and in the California government of having access to your resources. I think these are your two best options right now. Again, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just giving you my perspective. Y'all get together in a certain pocket of California and you try to break away from California. So you break the shit up in like 2 states or something. Maybe 3, 4, 5. Hell, as big as California is, it can become 3, 4, 5 states. Or you relocate and you live to fight another day. But California is I would argue so far gone, and it will take maybe a half generation for them to change. And some of that may come with them having to be deprived. Because right now they depend. It's like this. We talk about the parallel economy as well as with entertainment. The reason why these people act the way that they act is because they're cocky and they've been benefiting from the dollar of people that they hate. And they like to think that they don't need that money, but that's not true. So if people were more conscious of where that money was going, you would see they can either get ran into the ground or you would see them have to make an adjustment. And that's what I'm talking about, that may take another half decade because what's going on with you might think California was once a great state. It is what it is right now. And they've raised another generation of brainlets. And it's going to take a lot to combat that. So you're not if you live and fight and you stay and fight, I'm not going to knock you for it. But if you leave, I'm not going to knock you for it either. Just consider that and consider your options. You just watched a clip from my podcast, For Cannon's Sake. Catch us live at 12 p.m. throughout the week over at youtube.com/YoungRipper59 and follow us over at odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. If you want to watch the entire video cast after the show is over, just be sure to become a member on the YouTube channel. Of course, the full audio portion of the podcast is available for free on all major digital platforms, or just visit forcannonsake.com.